Guys, we're partnered with our friends at DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, to put you at the center of the action with a shot at $500,000 in total prizes. The DraftKings UFC 253 Daily Fantasy Contest is live now, and there's a $100,000 top prize. Here's how to play. Draft 6 fighters from Saturday's card. Stay below the $50,000 salary cap and rack up fantasy points for advances, takedowns, knockdowns, and more. The rules and scoring can be found at DraftKings.com/MMA. You want to know who I got? I'm taking Dominic Reyes. I think Dom should already be the champion. If that helps you, great. If you're a new user, go to dkng.co/Sonnen. to set up your account. Use the promo code Sonnen during signup. Thanks to DraftKings, you're going to get a shot at $500,000 in total prizes. One of the boring expressions that comes around in MMA, and it comes around and rears its ugly head far too often, but one of the day-old sayings, when you have a known fighter and they try to put him in there with a lesser-known fighter, the known fighter likes to dismiss it and say, he doesn't deserve this. What do I have to gain? Now, the whole what do I have to gain business only pertains in two situations. One, if you're fighting for a world championship, then you have something to gain. Or if you're fighting in a championship that Dana White has declared ahead of time, qualifies the winner to go fight for the world championship. Outside of that, there is no such thing of what do I have to gain. It is the exact same fighters who will tell you, I don't care about rankings and rankings don't matter, that then will default back to the ranking and say, well, I'm ranked number 6 and this guy's brand new to the organization and has no ranking. And quickly they will start bringing numbers into it. In the world of politics, if you are ever explaining, you are losing. And as annoying as that is, and the cowardice that that shows, it's actually a different message, and if the guys would just articulate said message, we'd be cool in the gang and nobody would be over sitting here at Bad Guy Inc. making a video about this. Here's what's being said. When a known commodity is asked to fight an unknown commodity, it really only comes down to one thing. The known commodity who worked his way up to, say, a number 6 ranking, but anywhere in the top 10, you're talking about special, once-in-a-lifetime, athletically achieved people. What they're really saying is, hey guys, I've done a whole bunch of fights and they were all done on TV and they all live at something called UFC Fight Pass, and for $9.99 a month, you can go check that out all you want. You have never been in here before. You are not on Fight Pass. You are not on YouTube. I don't know where to find you, and I don't have any footage of you, and that's when a guy is at his worst. By worst, I mean, that is when a guy is at his absolute most dangerous. No matter how skilled you are or how good you are, you have your eye. You are laser focused on a certain set of guys. For very good reason. If you're ranked in the top 10, you're going to be matched with somebody else ranked in the top 10. Broad stroke, but that's how it works. If you're ranked in the top 5, 4, 3, you're for sure fighting guys within the top 10, which means every day, when you put those shoes on and you go outside and you're running, you're not thinking about the step ahead of you. You're not thinking about how tired I am. You're picturing one of those guys across from you. You're visualizing, you're planning, you're plotting, and you're preparing. So when you see a guy try to dismiss somebody because he doesn't deserve the fight, not only do you sound like a jerk who just disassociated yourself from your fan base, but you're also not telling the truth. The truth is very helpful, which is I just don't know who this is. You guys will remember when Lyoto Machida burst onto the scene, and he was putting everybody out there, and he was doing it in record fashion. You will remember when Wonder Boy Thompson burst on the scene, who had this very unique skill set all the way down to this sideways stance, and he's bouncing and coming in with side leg kicks. But you'd never seen it before. And it was extremely problematic, which is why Wonder Boy Thompson kept ending up on highlight reels. You will remember all the way back to 1999 when a young man named Vitor Gracie, who later changed his name to Vitor Belfort, was doing what was known as the march step, where he would change his feet one after the next instead of staying in that stance. Oh, here's my jab hand, here's my cross hand. He would change feet, making every shot a power shot, but it had never been seen before. Vitor Belfort setting highlight reels. Vitor Belfort so good that Jeff Blatnick, who was the Joe Rogan of the organization at the time, said, and I quote, "He has no known weaknesses." But it was true. It was just one of these things. Now, what happened? What happened was you started to get some video. What happened is you started to get some tapes, and then that allows you to game plan. That allows you to understand tendencies. It gives you a leg up on your opponent, which your opponent won't have over you had you not burst into the scene. And a lot of those top guys don't have any choice but to fight somebody who isn't ranked. A lot of those top guys, Vitor Belfort, Lyoto Machida, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, they were so damn good, nobody wanted anything to do with them. Going, hey, wait a minute, he's ranked number 5, I'm ranked number 3, he's going to take my spot, I don't want to deal with this guy until I have a little bit more footage. Lyoto Machida is just as good as today as he was when he was the champion of the world, but now there's footage. Now there's some mannerisms with what he does. Now there's a preparation involved. Vitor Belfort is every bit as fast and can do that march step every bit as good as he did to Scott Ferozzo and the Tank Abbotts of the world, but now people know it's coming. As those feet start to change, don't stand there, don't cage, get the hell out of the way. Just by example, you're starting to run into this with Chimaev. Chimaev has been called out a grand total of 1 time, and he was called out by a very courageous gentleman named Vieira. And Vieira deserves all the credit in the world because he is the one and only guy that said, I got the balls, I've seen the footage, and put me in there with him. Full credit to him, and I want to give him a shout out. But the other problem you're running into with Chimaev is who wants to face this guy? Chimaev would like to be the champion of the world. He's got one huge problem right now, which is the champion of the world named Kamaru Usman, who does not like anybody. He's selfish, he got to where he wanted, and he's willing to take off anybody's head that tries to come and take what he earned. Usman happens to like Chimaev. Usman happens to see a little of himself within Chimaev. Usman liked to stay busy all the time, too. Usman would spread it around weight classes, too. Usman would take on ranked guys, unranked guys, undercard guys, main event guys. He'd take them all on, too. He's seen a little bit of himself in Chimaev, so it's making it very hard for Usman to put a finger in this guy's chest. And if he doesn't do that, then do we really want to see the fight? Yeah, I mean, sure. Would we like to see those guys battle? Would we like to figure out who the best in the world is and just how good is this Khamzat Chimaev, or is this a little bit of a hype train? Buck stop's going to stop at Usman. But Usman isn't interested for whatever reason, which I find very compelling. I find it compelling because on the back of that statement, Chimaev came out and said, I'm going to be the champ of 2 organizations by this time next year. Well, to be the champ of 2 organizations by next year means you either got to beat Usman, but then you've got to go, or Burns, or you've got to go up and you've got to beat Paulo Costa or Izzy Adesanya. Well, now you're having a whole nother conversation. Chimaev has set the world on fire for sure. I love the gimmick. I love the double booking. I love that he's bouncing weight classes. If you're going to start to zero in on gold, on the championship, on the 5-round fight in the main event against one of the baddest dudes in the world, and you can have a very fun conversation. Is it Adesanya? Is it Kamaru Usman? I'll leave that for you to have, but you're now talking about you're going to have to beat one of those guys. It would seem, logically speaking, the one that is closer to Chimaev's natural weight, which I'm told is about 178 pounds. I made a very big deal over here about when he went to Fight Island, fought at 185, and somehow lost 15 pounds in 7 days to make the welterweight class. For me, that is just, that's baffling. It would have been a really cool thing had he done it, but in reverse. He fought at 170, he's here, they're asking him to do it, there's a paycheck, I'll try my hand. He moves up to 185 while he's essentially on vacation in one of the most beautiful spots of the world with nothing else to do. He went in reverse. So I even called Ali on this. I called Ali on Del Abziz. I said, man, you got to connect some dots for me here, man. This makes no level of sense. And Ali goes, well, There's a little bit more to it. On a big day, he has breakfast, he couple pairs of clothes on and gets on a scale. He's hitting it at about 181. But he's generally around that 178, 179. He actually went up for the middleweight, so to pull down for welterweight was just one quick workout in a sauna. Okay, great. Answers the question. Now I have my answer. But if the 178-pound guy is still doing work up at 185, and now he's calling for a champ thing at 185, of which is very possible that he'll at least be given the opportunity. He has the full support of Dana White behind this gimmick. He has our support behind this gimmick. And it's very hard to dismiss him. I could not close my eyes and picture a 178-pound anybody getting over on Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa gets in that ring just south of 220, no less than 212. He is a heavyweight. By heavyweight standards, which is 206 pounds to 265 pounds, he's a heavyweight. Now, Adesanya's a lighter guy. Adesanya's 183 pounds, takes a few weeks on vacation, gets to 188 pounds. Adesanya, in all fairness, could make 170. 170 is what any coach in the world that put him on a scale and took a look at him would tell him he should be at. He just goes, no, I see it another way. I like to enjoy life. I don't like to focus on the weight cutting. I like to focus on the skill building. Okay, great. He's got the height. He's got the reach. He's proved that he has the power. Everything's fine, but he's an anomaly. I suggest this for you because the Chimaev sweepstakes are on plane, and anybody who's not calling him out is showing their true hand, and I don't like that. I do not like that. There's other places to go fight. There's regional scenes to go fight. Enter the pool. See if you can get into the Ultimate Fighter. Sure, they'd love to have you. They one time did a Contender Series. There's things that you can do, but you don't do them in the UFC unless you're willing to do the heavy lifting. GM3 gets a lot of credit for me. I also thought that GM3 had a very good strategy. I realized the fight lasted 17 seconds, but I think that he followed a very good strategy. Instead of engaging, instead of coming forward and making himself susceptible to the takedowns and the ground and pound, he decided to circle instead. Now, he circled and he circled into a right hand. I get what happened. I'm just sharing with you, strategically speaking, he did come to the table with something new and something different. What you're going to do with Chimaev appears to be a big problem. When you call a guy like Damian Maia, who fights anybody at any time, and Damian Maia has had plenty of time but has not said the word yes, I do predict that he will say yes. I don't see any chicken out of Damian Maia. It's just nothing I've ever seen before. And he will be publicly outed. It has been publicly stated this is the fight. The clock is ticking. See you at Fight Island. To get out of that fight is going to require something no short of saying, I want out of that fight. He tries to come up with an illness or an injury at this point, then things get even worse. It's much better. The truth will set you free. It is much better to say, this is my retirement fight. This guy is up and coming. I wish him all the best, but I kind of like to go out a little bit more competitively myself. I personally think Maia is going to be plenty competitive with him. I personally see that as a very good match, but it's also a match that Chimaev called for. Chimaev has a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Damian Maia not only has a black belt, he won that black belt with a score of 1-0 over somebody else you might have heard of named Jacare Souza.